Hey guys! Alright, that's the race report from last week. Took me forever to get to it. Unfortunately, didn't have any time this week. So in a very late fashion. Just reminding you, I am second overall here, just few points away from Julio, that is on first place. And I needed to finish this race actually 2 places ahead of him to take the overall. And something that I obviously was planning to do this race, but we'll see how it played out. I didn't know exactly how I should play the tactics in this race. I was thinking 2 ways. Either I'm gonna try to make this race hard on everybody else, attack, and especially obviously trying to make it hard on the Verrazano guys, but I'm risking, if I'm doing that, I'm risking of basically burning myself out and not even contest to the finish, on the finish of the race. Or save some energy, see if there's any moves going maybe towards the end of the race and chase them maybe, or even contest in the sprint. So anyway, I'll be honest with you, not a lot really happened on the first part of the race, so I'm just gonna move it for real quick here. So as you can see, first half of the race, I basically just sitting in a bunch and I don't see any moves really going. It looked like everybody just looking at each other, like marking one another. The pace wasn't that high, so I didn't feel like, if I felt if I'm gonna push right now, I might just gonna be able to, I'm just gonna burn myself and everybody gonna sit on my wheel. So I'm just following wheels, and you can see on top the laps kept ticking, and you know, waiting for the right move to come, which really happened, as you can see right now. Halfway in, I think we came to Prim, right about here. Let's stop it here, yep. So as you can see, we're before Prim right now, which is a sprint to for $20. So I grabbed the Mignola guy wheel here a little bit for just a minute. As you can see, I didn't really push too hard. As you can see, that actually was my first push, getting outside of the pack the entire race until now. And I noticed we have a little gap, and Eric looked back, as you can see right now as well. I guess you already know who Eric is. Good friend, very strong rider. Looked back, he actually wanted to work with me, and he started pushing. We had a little gap. The only one problem is with the Verrazano Bridge guys, that they had 2 guys that worked for Julio. That basically means they had 3 people. I'm racing against 3, and they just obviously doing the work for him. So he's resting in the pack, and they bringing him to us. So at that point, really, I was pushing hard at the beginning, but you can see my wattage here went down. Really, I didn't want to push, and the reason for it, we actually had a gap on the rest of the field, a nice big gap. But the Verrazano guys were right there with us, and I didn't feel like I should really work and pull them with me. And so I stopped working. That actually just shut the breakaway off. Unfortunately, any other race I would just continue right away. But again, I'm playing for the overall here. So once again, it all comes together, and again, not a lot going on until about the last lap of the race. So in order to make it right to the point, let's just move it forward again. So once again, just following wheels, actually marking Julio and the Verrazano guys most of the time. Just sitting in the pack, trying to conserve energy. As you can see, not a lot going on once again. Right after that surge, it really looked like everybody's marking one another. That's what it really felt like. Anyway, I don't even remember the wind direction, but you know what, before the end of the race, let's stop it right here, because I did have another surge. As you can see here, we're about to do the right turn, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't even remember wind direction at that point. It was a week ago. I'm gonna come from the left, and my friend Daniel, that racing, you're gonna see him soon. He's up in the front right now, riding an orange bike. I'm coming from the left here. I felt like I had to try one more time. You can see my wattage going up to 500, 600 watt. I'm not really, I'm not really sprinting, but I'm putting a little surge here. My hands is on the handlebar, on the time trial mode. I'm catching Daniel's wheel here, which is doing a great job. Once again, I'm looking back obviously all the time to see if we had a gap, and I don't really remember, but unfortunately this move didn't work. Obviously they brought us back again. We did have a little gap here, so I'm putting a little surge myself here. I'm going up to 400 or 500 watts. Not a huge effort. I mean, it is a little surge. I was just tasting the water. Again, I don't want to burn myself, because if I burn too many matches, I'm not gonna have anything left for the end of the race, and I wouldn't be able to contest for the overall. Yeah, I'm still going hard here, but unfortunately we all came together at that point. I think, look back, I saw them right there. Told myself there's no point for me to pull the whole group back. Last loop back, and I see everybody right there. I'm pulling to the left. Now the risk is, after you have a little surge and you're a little tired, is all these counter attacks, as you can see. And actually Julio is trying to cover them, and that's a big risk. If there's any gaps between me and Julio and I have to work hard to get him, that's obviously a mistake, a big mistake. So I'm following the Verrazano guys right away. Fortunately, as far as I remember, there was no gaps opening. But obviously counterattacks coming left and right at that point. We are getting to the end of the race now. So as you can see, little gaps did open, but I had other guys that closed it. Funny enough, Verrazano guys closed it here. I was sitting on Jacob's wheel here. Julio's right there in the front. I'm obviously looking at him. It's all about conserving energy, guys. So even after that surge, I didn't put everything I had in that surge. I knew I had to conserve energy for the last bit of the race, because attacks will come, maybe moves will come, late attacks that might be beneficial for me. So let me move it forward real quick. I'm marking Julio's wheel here, as you can see. So let me slow it down right here, because this is the part where it's starting to be interesting here. So that stretch, actually, that lap, we're talking about here like 2 laps to go about. As you can see, there's a break actually up front. There's 3 guys away, managed to break away. One of them was Eric. And now the tactics really starting to work. I was really starting to think, what can I do, basically? So oddly enough, the Verrazano guys started to work, I guess, for Julio to try to bring him first to the line, right? Thing is, it was actually working for me, because I was doing the calculation. If the 2 Verrazano guys that working for Julio in the front right now chasing the breakaway, they wasting energy while I'm sitting on their wheels, conserving energy. So I told myself, what if I let them work a little bit and then attack as hard as I can. Again, 2 laps to go we're talking about here, so that will be the last lap to go, and try to bridge that gap. You see them in the front there? That will be a strong, very hard effort, and I'm taking a big risk if I'll do that. But potentially, if I'll catch the breakaway and I'll be able to finish with the breakaway, I don't even have to win the race. As long as I'll finish, let's say 3rd, and there will be just 1 more guy after me, and even if Julio will come with the bunch after all of us, I'm taking the overall. And I decided to do that. As you can see, the Verrazano guys are working. I got Simon here in front. Jacob is working. Julio is obviously following wheels. He will not work at all. Trying to conserve as much energy as he can. That's what the team are there for. and I saw the opportunity right about here. Now keep in mind that's a very big effort to try to bridge a gap to three guys who work really hard together. We are in the last lap, and here it is. I'm giving everything I have here. That's the attack. 1100 watts going down to 700, 600 watts. Well, I got the gap. I was all by myself here, time trialing as hard as I can, trying to close that gap. Reminding you, three guys up front working together. I'm all by myself here. That's a big risk to take. So as you can see, it looks like I'm doing it. But that was a very big effort on my part. And that was the mistake of the race, right about here. I was redlined here, I'll be honest with you. Very tired. I decided I'm just gonna sit on their wheels and leapfrog in about half a lap, right before the finish line. And at that point I thought, you know, I looked back and we had a very big gap. So I actually did what I wanted to do here. I was sitting on their wheels and I told myself there's no reason for me to work. In hindsight, I should have come right to the front, as tired as I was, and just give everything I had. Everything. To keep on going and try to have this breakaway succeed. But unfortunately, we got caught. After the race, Julio said that the team worked so hard, it was really, they were redlined as well to get us back. But they brought us back, and that was the mistake. That was mistake number one. Actually, there will be another mistake you'll soon see. So Eric, see, I'm on his wheel. He's working really hard. He's telling me grab my wheel, and he's giving me a lead out. The only one problem here, I felt it was way too long from the finish line. Just reminding you guys here, everybody are on my wheel right now. The entire pack is right behind me. So I let this one guy go through. I grabbed his wheel, so I'm not gonna be second in line and see all that win. I don't want to eat all that win so close to the finish line. So I let him go. He was second in line. I think Julio was right behind us, a few places maybe back. And mistake number two happened right about now. On the right, this guy attacked. He wasn't a breakaway, and I'm telling myself, he's gonna fade away. I don't have to chase him. He actually managed to hold the whole field all by himself and win the race. I could have grabbed his wheel myself as well, but I started sprinting here. Again, reminding you, I was after a late attack, and that was a lame sprint. You see it going down. I was redlined here. I was really tired. I'm going as hard as I can. Julio was on my wheel. I saw him there. I'm zigzagging on the road here. I knew I lost the race. Julio was on my wheel, just waiting to just jump off my wheel, and you'll see them right now on the right. Here's Daniel. No, that's actually his teammate, sorry, and Julio is right there. Yep. So he won the overall. He didn't win the race, but he won overall. He took third here. I took, I think, like 8th. Few tactical errors at the end of the race. You know, really upsetting, but it is what it is. It's bike racing. I really enjoyed it. I took 2nd overall, and it was a lot of fun. So overall, really happy with this year. That was the last race of the year. You know, it was a really nice comeback here for me. I took it as I came back just to have some fun, and happened to be I won 4 races while doing it at Floyd Bennett Field, which starting to become my favorite place to race. And I took 2nd overall in 2 separate races, so that was a lot of fun. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next year.